Who killed Cleopatra and Caesar's son? Let me repeat the question. Who killed Cleopatra and Julius Caesar's biological son? This is the audience question for today's episode number 142 of Are You Quizzing Me? Cue the music. Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me? I am Vineeth Nair with my co-host Aditya Kashyap. This is a quizzing trivia podcast show. Join us as we dive deep into history, science, pop culture, and so much more. Let's get quizzing. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for episode number 142. Aditya and I are back for another round of quizzing. And you just heard the audience question that I will answer at the end of the episode just before the musical sting. Now, we have the small matter of the smack, which is the social media audience question that Aditya had asked last week, and the answer for which many of you have quite enthusiastically responded to. So, Aditya, who was the first person to get the answer right on our social media audience question, also known as smack?
Before I tell you who got the answer for smack, I'll tell you what the question was. It was a visual question, as always, a picture of easily identifiable Taj Mahal. However, there seems to be something on top of Taj Mahal, something covering the dome of the Taj Mahal and the minarets as well. And the question was, when was Taj Mahal temporarily modified as such and why? It was a two-parter, I guess. And Purav Shah was quick on the draw, got the answer immediately as soon as they posted it, like within a few seconds. It's always astounding to me how quickly people can crack these questions. Purav mentioned that this is 1971. It is from the India-Pakistan war. The intention was to hide the Taj Mahal and protect it from any aerial strikes from the Pakistan Air Force. So this was basically Taj Mahal camouflage. And that is a very, very quick crack, very beautifully done by Purav. So thank you so much, Purav, for giving us your very fast answer, I guess. And the smack for this episode, which is SMAQ 142, will be at the end of the episode. So listen out for that and then catch it on Instagram or Reddit. And if you're the first person to answer it, you deserve a shout out on the next episode.
Yes, and a very well deserved one. Congratulations, Purab. You have won a grand total of nothing but our respect for having answered that so very quickly and correctly. So let's get down to the meat of this episode, which is the quizzing. Aditya, why don't you start us off?
All right, Vineeth, 142 is going to be an episode you're going to remember because it's going to be a list-centric, list-heavy, list-focused episode. There are going to be a bunch of lists I'm going to throw at you, and you're going to tell me what these lists are about, what does it concern, perhaps something that's missing on the list, yada, yada, yada. All right. I know you're going to love this because, as everybody knows, lists are
I hate
your...
you. Let me just preface this entire episode by saying that my hatred for Aditya is directly proportional to the number of lister questions that he asks. So then today is probably the most hate-filled episode of Are You Quizzing Me that you will ever be privy to.
It's a number of lists, but is it the number of things on the list also that it is proportional to?
It doesn't matter. I hate you.
All right, I will take that hatred and I'll transform it into a fun trivia question. Because, Vineeth, the first question is going to be a list of certain locations. Tell me what the list is of and tell me what the first item, the missing item on this list is. Okay? So,
Okay.
the Pentagon, which is, of course, in Virginia, United States. Chrysler World Headquarters in Michigan, also United States. The SAS Tower, which is in Hyderabad in India. The USAA, which is USAA, I don't know. United Services Automobile Association corporate headquarters, which is in Texas of United States. So I've told you the second, third, fourth, and the fifth one on the list. Tell me what this list is of, and then tell me what is number one on this list.
So these are locations which used to, or at least had, the largest office surface area.
Fantastic. Crack. Yes, it is the largest office buildings in the world. Okay. So we have 3 from the States on number 2, 3 and 5. And number 4 is also another office building from India. So number 1 is the question that I have posed to you. Which is the largest office building in the world?
I remember reading something about this vaguely, but I can't. It's in Gujarat. It's something to do with the Diamond Merchants Association, something like that.
You take my lists and you make just a joke out of them. It's I don't know. I am at a loss of words because this was supposed to be a tough one. This was supposed to be a tricky one. I know. Wait, I have the joke. Okay, let's try this again. Take two.
Oh, okay.
You take my list and you shoot through it like a bullet point. Does that work?
No. Let's just forget that you ever said anything like that.
Okay. All right, fair enough. But let me tell the audience that yes, Vineeth cracked it beautifully. It was the largest office buildings in the world. And I was very surprised to know that Surat Diamond Burs, which is the Diamond Trade Center located in Dream City in Surat, Gujarat in India, is the largest office building in the whole world. It was baffling to me because, again, I do know Surat Diamonds, obviously very strong correlation there. But I did not know that there's a very specific office building, which is the largest office building in the world. It covers a floor area of 660,000 square meters. In comparison, because I think all of us have a vague idea of what the Pentagon looks like. We have seen pictures of it. That is 620,000 square meters. So yeah, it's almost 40,000 square meters larger than the Pentagon. Then that's number one. And number four is also a tower in Hyderabad, which is also a pretty huge office building apparently. So these are the largest office buildings in the world. If you go down further down the list, there's of course Japan, Malaysia, China features heavily further down as well. India comes back on the list also. But yeah, number one is India, Surat. Look at those diamond merchants really hitting it hard, shining it up. Something to do with carrot.
9 on the Mohs scale.
Oh, that's also a nice one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Hitting it hard. Yeah. Okay. After that very geeky and frankly bad joke, let's move on to my question, which has nothing to do with lists and everything to do with history.
Perfect.
Listen carefully. This is a pretty long and quite indulgent question, but it just fascinated me. So you guys will have to bear with me. Chen Yurong, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Chen Yurong was born in 1916. Her parents owned a grocery store and her first husband worked as a shoemaker. Her first husband was killed during a Japanese bombing raid in Wuhan, and at the age of 28, she was left to single-handedly raise her 2 daughters. After moving to Shanghai, she was penniless and had to find a way to survive. She found that smuggling opium by the docks could be a profitable business, and soon in Shanghai's underworld, she became a big name, nicknamed Third Sister, also becoming a legendary gambler in the Shanghai underworld. Now, coming to person number 2. Fang Daolong was born in the Shandong province of China in 1915. After being fired from the Kuomintang's army staff for persistently goofing off, he joined the nationalist anti-communist intelligence department, surviving 2 assassination attempts. When the Sino-Japanese War broke out in 1937, he fled, like other Kuomintang sympathizers, inland to Chongqing, finally returning home to Shandong to find most of his family dead. He married for the first time, fathering 2 sons. When his wife died in 1947, Fang left his 2 kids and fled for his life ahead of the advancing communists to Shanghai. There, he became the head of the so-called Shandong gang. Fang Daolong met Chen Yurong in an opium den in Shanghai. They fell in love and married. After the communists took over China, Fang hopped a train to Hong Kong, changing his name. She later joined him, leaving her 2 daughters behind. In Hong Kong, Fang got a job as a handyman cum cook at the French embassy, and it was in this privileged background amid the territory's expat community on Victoria Peak that their only child was born in 1954. The story of Chen Yurong and Fang Daolong was first revealed in a documentary named Traces of a Dragon in 2003, and then in A Tale of 3 Cities, a 2015 war romance film. Both were directed by Mabel Chung. How do we better know Chen Yurong and Fang Daolong? What's their claim to fame?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to ask me about their child. am I supposed to identify the famous child? Because that's what I was looking towards. But if it's they themselves who are known as some other name, then
They're pretty famous now, so they might have another claim to fame, which may or may not be through another person.
the timeline made me think of Bruce Lee. And I was like, are they by some... And you said something about the dragon?
Yes, Traces of a Dragon.
Trace of a dragon. So I was like, is there some like Bruce Lee's parents or something?
No. It's not Bruce Lee's parents.
51, I believe you said, right? The child was born?
1954.
54 would mean 72 years right now. Could be Jackie Chan. I'm not sure if he's in his late 60s or has he already hit 70s. Want to try Jackie Chan?
Yes, these are Jackie Chan's parents, who then later changed their name. They are now known as Charles and Lee Chan.
Interesting. Wow, that's a pretty cool history to have.
Yeah. Chen Yorong and Fang Daolong are best known as parents of Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan, if you have been living under a rock, is the globally famous Hong Kong actor, martial artist, comedian, singer, and filmmaker. His career has spanned 5 decades. For most of that time, his family's deeper history was widely not known to the public. The story of Chen Yorong and Fang Daolong was first revealed to the public in a documentary titled Traces of a Dragon, released in 2003. The documentary was commissioned by Jackie Chan himself as a quote-unquote family souvenir and was directed by Mabel Chung. In the film, Jackie's father, who Jackie had known as Chen Jiping, revealed that his real name was Fang Daolong and that he had 2 middle-aged sons from a previous marriage in China. The documentary also covered Chen Yorong's background, including her opium smuggling and underworld activities in Shanghai. The same story was later dramatized in a 2015 war romance film called A Tale of Three Cities, also directed by Mabel Chung. The film portrays the lives of Chen Yorong and Fang Daolong and their experiences across 3 cities, Wuhan, Shanghai, and Hong Kong, during the turbulent period of war and political change in China. Ironically, Jackie Chan was named Narcotics Control Ambassador in China in 2009, an unusual turn of events for a man whose mother once allegedly worked in the drug trade. Perhaps more surprisingly, in 2014, J.C. Chan, his son, was arrested in Beijing after police found marijuana in his house.
And also, wasn't he some sort of narcotics cop in Rush Hour as well, I think? I mean, he was a cop.
Yeah, he's done a lot of anti-narcotics.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, it was something to do with the narcotics gang that he's chasing and he comes to the US. Oh man, that movie, it is dated, but it is still so funny.
Mostly because I think Chris Tucker did most of the heavy lifting in that movie. Jackie Chan just played the straight man to his...
Jackie Chan did a fair bit of heavy
character.
lifting in terms of the action, quite literally, probably.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think it's a good combination. I think it's just a fun combination of action and comedy.
I read something quite interesting when I was researching this, is that everybody knows that Jackie Chan does all his own stunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Technically not true. So Jackie Chan, even in his heyday, only did around 90% of his own stunts.
Only 90%. Okay, sure.
No, wait. Listen to this. So the stunts, he was more than happy to let a stuntman do, the job when it was something like drive a car in a scene where his face is not seen.
Okay.
So he would do like the really, really dangerous stuff where he could probably die, and he's almost died a couple of times. But when it comes to like, guy standing at the ledge or guy just driving or, something like that, he'll be like, let somebody else do that. He'll go rest.
And
I found very funny.
That reminds me of that really fun story that I think, I believe it was Matt Damon who was saying this in some interview. And he's talking about Tom Cruise. It's the Burj Khalifa stunt from Ghost Protocol. And he's like, this is Matt Damon narrating it in Tom Cruise's voice. And Tom Cruise apparently goes up to his stunt coordinator and he's like, listen, the script needs me to be
Safety
hanging.
advisor,
right. He goes, safety advisor. And he's like, I need to be hanging off of Burj Khalifa. I need to be running there. And at some point, I'm jumping off and bursting through the window. And this is how the stunt is going to go. And the safety guy says that, no, you know what? This is not going to work. So for a moment, Matt Damon is like, so what did you do? And Tom Cruise looks at him and he's like, so I got a new safety guy. And then
yeah, I've seen that interview. It's great. Matt Damon's a fantastic storyteller.
Oh, it's so funny also because like you can totally imagine anybody else being like, yeah, the safety guy said no, so why would I do it? And turns out the Tom Cruise is like, yeah, my safety guy is not good enough. I need a different safety guy.
Another story that Matt Damon tells, which is one of my favorites, is that James Cameron had come to him first for the role of Jake Sully in Avatar, and had offered him instead of a salary, he had offered a percentage of the profits. He would have gotten paid like $100 million for a movie. And he's like, I'm the guy who turned down $100 million.
Well, if Govinda can turn it down, then who is Matt Damon? So, yeah.
If you can believe Govinda, then the name Avatar, he suggested the name Avatar.
I believe Govinda. I have no reason not to believe Avatar number 1. Probably it is going to be. Since we were all over the globe with Burj Khalifa and Hong Kong and whatnot, my next list question is going to be different places across the world. This one might be a little tricky because it's very, very specific, but the answer hopefully is gratifying and satisfying as only good trivia can be. These are not in any specific order. There is Washington, D.C. There is Los Angeles, which is in California. There is Tucson, which is Tucson, Arizona. Santo Domingo, capital of Dominican Republic in the Caribbean. Bogota, Colombia, South America. London, England. Lyon, France. Madrid, Spain, The Hague, Netherlands, Paris, also in France, Tel Aviv, Israel, Doha in Qatar, Amman in Jordan, Abu Dhabi in the UAE, and Sydney in Australia. This is an exhaustive list. What is this a list of?
This is an exhaustive list consisting of Washington, D.C., LA, Bogota, Santo Domingo, London, Paris, Amman, Abu Dhabi, Sydney.
And you missed out a few, but yeah.
Okay. Which one did I miss?
There are 15 cities on this list. So Sydney, Abu Dhabi, Amman, Doha, Tel Aviv, Paris, Hague, London, Lyon, Madrid, Washington, D.C., Santo Domingo, Bogota, Tucson, Los Angeles. I think that's 15. Yeah.
What's common in this list, right, among these places?
What is this a list of? Yeah.
Wow. I need some kind of clue, man. This is no context. It's just a lot of cities and nothing springs to mind.
The first hint that I can give you is the time frame. Some of these, especially the South American cities, were added as recently as 2024 to the list. And the list itself began in 2003. So something around the turn of the millennium, and that kick-started this list.
I can't think of anything that's like nothing comes to mind. 2003, anything to do with the FIFA World Cup?
So don't think of the year specifically. It is around that year, not necessarily 2003, but around that time. Okay, you know what? Tough question, and the hint so far has not been the easiest. So let's give you a maybe slightly easier hint. This has to do with a specific city in the United States of America. That is in a way, the essence of the answer. And more interestingly, you would be hard pressed to find this. I didn't quite look at every other example possible, but I would be hard pressed to find at least these many cities on a list, because usually this would be centered in exactly just the one city that it is focused on. So let me make that slightly easier. The hint, the answer has to do with the city X. None of the cities I mentioned. City X, that is in the United States of America. In case of every other city in the world, there wouldn't be such a long list. There probably won't be any list at all, because the whole thing would be centered only in that city. In this case, however, X is related to all these other cities. Yeah, that's probably the best way to phrase that hint.
It's got nothing to do with sister cities, right? It's like one city in the US has like 15 sister cities, nothing like that, right?
No. Sister cities, I mean, there are these odd triplets also I've seen. But yeah, 15.
What about air travel? Anything to do with air travel?
Well, air travel is a pretty interesting guess in terms of like perhaps how it started. I think you're kind of warm as to the origin of this.
It can't be a metro or subway system, because there are so many other cities which have that.
No, not. So think more 2003, pre-2003 air travel, some city in the United States of America. That's what we're thinking of.
New York is not on this list, right?
Like I mentioned, the answer is not one of the 15 cities.
Yeah, so, okay, you said, but you didn't mention New York on this list, right?
I did not mention
Washington and LA.
I did not.
So is the city New York? Maybe I can work it out from there.
City is New York. Okay, great. All right. So I think that's like maybe 60% of the answer there. New York, but what specifically about New York that in the case of perhaps no other city in the world, would there even be such a list? In the case of New York, there is a list of 15 other cities that it is concerned with.
You said cities. Otherwise, I'd have thought something like consulates or something. But you also said it's travel related. I'm guessing it is airline related. Is it that direct? No.
Yeah.
Red eye flights? No. Something like that.
Airline related, but don't think of air travel as such. More of like what happened at the turn of the millennium, airline related, New York.
9/11 happened in New York, 2001.
Just give me one keyword and I'll give you the answer. Give me the one keyword I'm looking for. What would
Airspace, restricted airspace.
not exactly, but somewhat warmer. I'm looking at New York.
Okay.
I'm looking at its connection to a bunch of other cities. I'm looking at 9/11 and
Okay.
in as recent as 2024, which means that
Oh, wait. Are these the cities where NYPD has offices?
well done.
I knew this. Yeah.
These are the international program. There's an international liaison, international and domestic, because there are some domestic cities also, some American cities also. International domestic liaison program. And NYPD, New York Police Department, has offices in all these other cities as well in the world. I can't imagine any other police department, maybe Interpol, I guess, but then again, Interpol is not a city-specific thing. Any other city police department having offices in other cities altogether. And New York has it across the world in 15 different cities. This is on the New York Police Foundation.org website. I found it very fascinating that there are 15 cities and literally it covers, of course, I'm sure at that point, Middle East was an area of concern and during 9/11. I mentioned 2024 South American cities, again, with the whole border, immigration, drugs, gangs, cartels, all of that kind of a hype that has taken over before Trump came in. And of course, since Trump came in, there has been a focus on that as well. So 2024 was the launch of these two places. There is Los Angeles, there is Washington, D.C., there's London was one of the first ones to be set up. There's Doha, there's Amman, there's Paris, Hague, Sydney. I remember somewhere seeing that Singapore is supposed to be on the list, but on the NYPD website, I don't see Singapore. Regardless, there are more than 24 offices of New York Police Department outside of New York. Freaking amazing.
I remember watching this on some cop show. I don't remember which one it is right now, but I remember watching it and I was thinking, oh my God, they can make up so much bullshit for these kind of shows. And then I was like, just check it out. And I was like, what? They actually do have offices in these places. And I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Right? Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, very nice. I have a question again. One of my favorite areas to ask questions from. It's again history. This time it's 20th century history. Between 1924 and 1990, the Soviet Union guarded an area they designated highly restricted area. This was a 240 square kilometer area with a 10,400 square kilometer buffer zone. It was guarded 24 hours a day by Soviet soldiers. Tanks rumbled across its border, creating a physical military barrier around the restricted zone. State-of-the-art MiG fighter jets could be scrambled at a moment's notice from nearby air bases to patrol the area. Anyone attempting to enter the area was forbidden, and if Soviet forces caught you, you'd be shot on sight. But what was really ironic was that the Soviets used full-scale military occupation, that's troops, tanks, fighter jets, satellite surveillance, and shoot-on-sight orders to guard something that they actually couldn't find. What were they guarding?
An area that they couldn't find.
So they were guarding an area.
Okay.
Right? They were guarding 240 square meters of land.
Mm-hmm.
But they were actually guarding something that they couldn't find. Like if they're guarding 240 square kilometers of area, they're obviously guarding something. But it was something that they couldn't even find. What was it?
I am going to say because they were guarding something and they couldn't find it also. I'm going to say it is a tomb. Because it just reminds me of like I think is it Genghis Khan's tomb is not known where it exactly is.
I hate you. Like the hatred on this episode is off the charts. You demolished my Jackie Chan question. I had so many clues lined up for this question. I'm just so pissed right now.
Hey, listen, I've not cracked who it is.
You did.
I didn't mention who it is. Oh,
you did.
Genghis Khan? Is it Genghis?
Yes. Yes, the
Say
Soviet
that
Union
again.
was guarding Genghis Khan's tomb.
What, they were guarding?
I'm so mad right now. So mad right now.
Oh.
I kind of debated, should I actually put the part of the irony? I should just leave the question about, okay, they were guarding something, what was it? And yeah, hopefully you would go down some kind of nuclear rabbit hole or whatever. But then I was like, chalo, I'll put some clue in it. And then I put this in the, oh, this is so irritating.
Okay.
Oh.
Genghis Khan was, I think, a freebie that I got because I was going to get somebody who died around that time. I was going to guess like Rasputin or Lenin or something like that. Though I imagine their tombs are known. I don't know if their tombs are unknown, I think. But yeah, I know Genghis Khan because I've been to Mongolia and he had that.
The gigantic statue.
The gigantic statue, and the people over there told us that like he ordered his horses to like generals to like run across that
I'm
space.
coming to all of that. I'm coming to all of that.
Just that nobody knows it.
Yes, we get it. Okay. So for my audience who never let me down and who kind of play along with me, if not this bugger sitting right opposite, the Ik Khorig, also known as the Great Taboo, is a 240 kilometer square area in the Khenti Aimag of Mongolia, believed by some to be the location of Genghis Khan's grave. The Mongols declared this area sacred and off limits to everyone except family members and the Darkhad, a group of elite warriors and their families who were given the task of ensuring no one else entered under the penalty of death. The Darkhad and their descendants faithfully carried out this assignment for more than 700 years, from the Khan's death in 1227 until the establishment of the Mongolian People's Republic, a satellite state of the USSR, in 1924. The Soviets used full-scale military occupation and operations to guard a grave that everyone wanted to find, but no one could locate. The Soviets feared that if the region were made publicly accessible, memories of Genghis Khan would encourage Mongolian nationalism, and they did not want Mongolians to have access to a rallying point of their national heritage. The area has been open to archaeologists only since the late 1980s. Most Mongolians today would prefer if Genghis Khan's tomb stayed hidden, out of respect for the historical figure's dying wish. The peak of Burkhan Khaldun, where many believe the tomb is located, falls under a protected wildlife conservation area that the Mongolian government does not permit anyone to enter for any reason. Despite several expeditions to try to locate the tomb, no excavation has been allowed. The Mongolian government continues to protect the area out of respect for tradition and national identity. Now, for those who don't know the legend of Genghis Khan's grave, according to Mongol legend, Genghis Khan, who died in 1227, had requested to be buried without any markings or any signs that would identify his grave. He reportedly wanted to bury himself in the sacred peak of Burkhan Khaldun in the Khenti Mountains, where he had hidden from enemies as a young man and pledged to return after his death. The Mongols practiced Tengrism, favoring burial under the open sky rather than monumental tombs, and returning his body to the earth was spiritually significant. The secrecy was extreme and brutal. Soldiers carried his body home and killed anyone they met along the funeral route to hide the path. All masons and slaves who built the tomb were slaughtered once it was complete, and the soldiers who had killed the builders were also executed, ensuring that no living soul knew the exact location. 1,000 horses were ridden over the grave to trample the ground and to obliterate any traces of burial activity. Legend states that a river was deliberately diverted over the grave's area, only to be reverted to its original course, permanently hiding the site. Trees were planted over it to cover it from public view, and after his death, 93 square miles or 240 square kilometers around Burkhan Khaldun was declared the Great Taboo, severely prohibited from entry under punishment of death.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm making an early pop culture recommendation. There is a podcast which I've been recently addicted to. The guy releases episodes quite only once a month or something like that, and he does it by season. So not that many episodes to go down, but whatever is there is really, really good. The podcast is called Conflicted. It's a history podcast, and their episode on Genghis Khan is, wow, the cracker of an episode. It's called Pax Mongolica. So go listen to that.
Nice. I love that. I love that idea of Pax Romania, Pax Britannia. Pax
No,
Mongolica.
there is apparently, we were not aware of this, but apparently there was a Pax Mongolica where any citizen could walk the breadth of the Mongol Empire without being molested or harmed. It was said that a virgin could walk naked with a bag of gold on her head, a basket of gold on her head, from one end to the other without being harmed because everyone feared the Mongols. The thing with the Mongols was, it was not just that the punishment was brutal, it was the certainty of punishment.
I would also say the harm might not be human, but if you're walking naked through Mongolia with a gold box on your head, I'm sure there are a lot of elemental issues and physiological issues that you'll encounter. But okay, fair.
Yeah.
No, I think again, as history has both the good and the bad, and Genghis Khan, can't judge him by today's moral standards, of course, but did some brutal things, but also did some pretty incredible things.
It's fascinating. Apparently, the Mongols didn't believe in torture. They allowed anybody to practice whichever religion they wanted. And funnily enough, apparently, there was at least no word in the Mongolian language for warrior.
Okay, interesting.
Because every single person
as a warrior
who lived in the steppes, they had to be tough. They had to be tough, they had to be fighters, they had to be brutal, they had to be able to kill or be killed. So literally every single person who lived in that area was a fighter. So there were no special class of warriors when Genghis Khan came to power.
Very interesting.
The similarities between, obviously, because they were based on the Mongols, for those who find it difficult to imagine, just think of the Dothraki from Game of Thrones. George R.R. Martin based the Dothraki off the Mongol horde.
I believe I have recommended this in the past when it was some question related to the Mongols. This is Crash Course History. It is John Green. It's a YouTube series, and the original one. And of course, it's outdated now because it's more than a decade old. There's obviously been a bunch of things that have changed or new things that we found out about history. But in any case, the one thing that the catchphrase of that show was, any rule that you might have about trade, about warfare, about laws, about kings, kingdoms, inheritance, anything, there's always an exception. And he'd always go, except the Mongols, because they defied every rule in the book. They were the ones who went into Russia when nobody else since then or before that has been able to do it. They literally, so every rule was thrown out when it came to the Mongols. So Crash Course History, fun show and fun catchphrase. All right, okay, fantastic question. And that is a pretty...
No, don't condescend to me. Fantastic question. You cracked it like a nut.
I got
I'm so angry at you today.
No, see, in the Bruce Lee, Jackie
and then you don't even have the decency to kind of take a little time with my questions. I spent half an hour on this one.
Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, I kind of figured out through the question. This one, I genuinely would have guessed somebody Russian before I guessed Genghis Khan. That was just an example that happened to be the right answer.
All kidding aside, fantastic crack.
Thank you.
Hats off to you.
This one could be a very quick crack. Again, I think sometimes...
No, it's not going to be.
I believe in you. Sometimes I now that we post stuff on our Instagram, and so shout out to anybody who's listening and has not checked out our Instagram. Bite-sized content. If sometimes you want to just go back and look at the more fun questions you have asked, we converted into, instead of these 5-6 minute long, 10 minute long sometimes tirades that we go into, that those are usually 2 minutes or shorter. So reels and easier to share. Anyways, shout out done. But now that we do that content, I sometimes wonder if a certain question I'm going to ask does fit that bill. And just to put our listeners at ease, that is not how I curate my questions. I still ask questions that I find interesting. This one probably won't show up on the reels because, and it's easier to have qualifiers on the podcast, this is not a verifiable fact. In fact, a lot of historians disagree with this also. Some historians agree with it, some historians don't agree with this particular hypothesis, or let's say conjecture. Okay, but it's such a fun piece of trivia, I just had to ask. Okay, so another list question for you, Vineeth. What is this list of? It's going to be a long list. Buckle up. Ratanpur, Vijaypur, Kharond, Maro, Kautgarh, Navagarh, Sondi, Aukar, Padarbhatta, Semriya, Champa, Lafa, Churi, Kenda, Matin, Aparora, Pendra, Kurkuti Kandri, Raipur, Patan, Simaga, Singarpur, Lavan, Omera, Durg, Saradsa, Sirasa, Menhadi, Khalari, Sirpur, Figeswar, Rajim, Singhagad, Suvarmar, Tenangad, and Al Akaltara. I hope my pronunciation wasn't that bad. These are all obviously very Hindi Indian names. So there is that.
Yes, but like it's a ginormous list.
Yeah.
Of places, half of which, not half, actually most of which I've not heard of.
Fair enough.
You can't expect me to answer this question off the bat.
I can and I do, and I think you'll get it. And I won't go through the list again. There are some places which have a Wikipedia article, like Nawagad is a town. Ratanpur, the first one I mentioned, is also town, and Nagarpalika. And the rest of them probably can be found on a map. I have not done that yet. However, I do want to emphasize that this is something that historians, it's history related, let's say primarily history related. Some historians think this is valid and some historians disagree. So don't take this as pure fact. All right. Coming back to this. It was a long list. A lot of things on it that I probably massively mispronounced. The question is, did you count how many things were on the list?
No, I did not.
There were 36 items on the list. There were 36 things on the list. It's probably the longest list question I've ever asked.
There were 36 items on 36 place names. They're all place names, right?
Yeah.
You'll give me that.
Yeah.
And this is from Indian history, obviously.
Yes.
So there's a list of place names. There are 36 in number and they're all from Indian history. And it's an exhaustive list.
Exhaustive list, correct.
The number is locked at 36.
Indeed.
First guess, because when you say Indian history, the first guess is always Ashoka. Something to do with the Chakravarti Ashoka?
No.
Chakravarti Ashok?
No, nothing to do with Raja Ashok. Samrat Ashok.
Okay.
Samrat Ashok.
Second, because he said 36, but I don't think so, because I didn't hear anything like this thing, what do you call it? Suryavansha, Chandravansha. Otherwise, I would have thought there is this thing, no? Chhattis Rajput. The Rajputs, there are 36 clans.
Not too sure.
I don't know anything else with 36 in Indian history that I can't remember of any. I can't think of anything else. 36 clans is what I can think of, but apart from that, I don't know.
Clearly, you've not seen the greatest piece of cinema in Indian history, which is 36 Chinatown, which stars Shahid Kapoor, Kareena Kapoor, and Upen Patel. My man Upen Patel.
No. Yeah.
I feel like this podcast has discussed 36 Chinatown also in the past, where I've made fun of the fact that the butler, I'm sorry, spoiler alert, the butler does it. And it's very annoying because they don't show the butler throughout the film.
I have just two words for you. Upen Patel.
Excuse me, those are the two words I'll throw right back at you because Upen, freaking three words, Upen freaking Patel, because he is so cool. I love Upen Patel, my man.
Yeah. No, it's like everybody was acting in 3 dimensions and he was acting in 4 dimensions. We just can't see the fourth one.
That is true. We could be surpassing all our understanding of physics. Yes, Upen Patel is capable of that. But coming back to this, I think what is tripping you up perhaps is the fact that I said Indian history. All I meant was that these have historical significance, but they also have very much present day significance. So, like you said, Raja Ashok, like whatever his stupas or thumbs or whatever. Well, of course, they would be relevant today in terms of being a historical artifact. I'm saying that these have a very pertinent, let's say, importance in today's India as well, and not as just a historical artifact and something very much to do with present day India.
I wouldn't for the life of me be able to locate most of these on a map, but do they have to do anything with borders?
No, nothing to do with borders.
Potential sites for something like nuclear reactors or do they have some kind of resource for which we are like planning to do they have like uranium or coal or something like that?
No. Okay, one more hint.
Please.
One more hint. Okay, the present day importance of it was, let's say, established or was solidified in the year 2000.
No, it doesn't help.
One more hint, perhaps. Again, re-emphasizing the fact that this is not something that everybody agrees. You're not sure if it is very, very historically set or agreed upon. But presumably, there were forts in all of these locations.
Well, it's like Chandragupta Maurya's forts.
Again, think of something that would be relevant today also. Chandragupta Maurya's forts won't be as relevant today, I guess.
No, I don't. Dude, nothing. If you
I
had
thought you
forts,
will
they
crack
usually.
it immediately after you give your first guess because you said the word which was, I thought, will take you a while to get to.
Ashok. Chakravarti Ashok.
You said, oh no, it's sorry, the Jaipur, I'm saying, the Rajput guess that you made. What did you say?
Yeah, I mentioned Rajput. Yeah, Chhattis.
Yeah,
Chhattis Rajkot.
that's the word. That's the word.
Chhattis. Chhattis is 36.
Yeah, that's the word. Think of the word. Think of forts. Think of the year 2000.
Why would I think of the year 2000? And was there a movie called Special Chhattis? No.
Okay, last hint. Okay, last hint. This is history, of course, because of the fact that historically there may have been forts there, but also it is etymology. We are talking about a name.
So the word Chhattis, 36 cities, and it's related to etymology for somehow, and the year 2000.
Yes. Oh, you're going to be so mad at yourself.
I told you the hatred on this particular episode is going to be off the charts. Oh, you alien! Chhattisgarh.
Yes.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah. No, it was staring me in the face. It was staring me in the face. It was so staring me in the face.
Oh man, I really thought you would get this with the Chhattis word immediately.
Yeah, for those who are from Chhattisgarh, who've been listening to this episode and have been throwing things at your car stereo or whatever you're listening to us on, I'm so sorry. But what this was literally, you said 2000, you said etymology. Yeah, I hate myself.
And in fact, the two places I mentioned, Ratanpur and Navagarh. So Garh, a bunch of them in the list had Garh in its name also. There was Tenganagarh, Singhangarh, Navagarh, whatever. These are all Garh. So basically Garh being a fort or stronghold, something along those lines. And these are the 36. Allegedly, again, I'll specify, this is not a given fact. There is no, like, people have tried to find these. These are some anecdotes, some story, some legend somewhere that these were the 36 originally, and that's how Chhattisgarh got its name. But a lot of research has shown that maybe these never existed. So it could be a different set of 36. It could also be the fact that there's some other reason that Chhattisgarh got its name. But this is one of the very popular theories. So how Chhattisgarh gets its name. Chhattis, 36, Garh, forts. These were the 36 original forts that kind of defined this territory historically, and that's how Chhattisgarh, the state, which was formed in the year 2000, that's where I was getting at, got its name as well. It had historically had the name, but yeah, when it was formally given the name as a state, Chhattisgarh, that's where it came from.
Have I mentioned that I hate you? No?
Listen,
Okay.
I really thought that Chhattis would lead you there immediately.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Let me channel Hausla, Indhan, Badla. Okay. The silhouette and profession of Ek was primarily inspired by René Lavande, also known as Cardini. Ek's name was inspired from a line in a 17th century poem by John Donne. When asked why X resembled the creator mentioned, well, of course he did. I was alone in a room with a mirror when I drew him. Who's X?
Just because iconic face, I guess, I'm going to say, or another iconic silhouette, I'm going to say Tintin?
No.
Because I have a vague recollection of the artist.
No, we've asked that question. That was a journalist.
Yeah, but he looked somewhat like... anyway.
No, he didn't look like Herge. Herge almost completely based him off a journalist. I forgot that fellow's name.
Correct. We have asked this question. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, my God. Really, way too many episodes. I'll need a hint.
Okay, so X, if you went in your travels around the world, you may not meet many people who may be familiar with X, but you would meet a lot of people in India who are familiar with X.
Okay.
Like if you went to the US and like one of those irritating influencers and vloggers went to Times Square or somewhere and just stopped random people on the road asking them questions. Do you know X? Do you know X? They'll be like, huh? Who's that?
Which country is this tourist from? Okay.
I don't know.
But Indians would be familiar with this particular character.
Yes. At least one generation of Indians. Our generation definitely. Our Gen Z, maybe not.
I'm trying to think of comic book characters. If not comic book characters, then cartoon characters. Comic book characters that our generation would be, but it's going off of a hunch that I don't think it's an Indian character per se. I don't think it's like a Chacha Chaudhary.
I wouldn't be surprised if many people did think that this was an Indian character. For a long period of time, at least when my childhood, some people did think it was an Indian character.
That makes me think of only one character. And makes me think of Phantom.
No, not Phantom.
Okay.
I wouldn't make it that obvious. And I've asked questions about Phantom before.
You have asked questions about Phantom before. Yeah, I think I'll need another hint then. No, I'm stumped.
Okay. So this character has inspired countless other characters, including a DC and a Marvel one. And the Marvel character is like one of the heavy hitters. So the character that X inspired in Marvel Comics has appeared in multiple MCU movies.
Multiple MCU films.
Another clue? Do you want another clue?
Yeah.
I've got this one lined up.
This is nice.
So obviously the name, as I mentioned, was inspired from a line from a 17th century poem by John Donne. You would be more familiar with that name from Harry Potter.
Parvati and Padma Patil. Only Indian names are.
No. Like I said, people may think that this person was of Indian origin, but
this person isn't like this character.
Not actually. Yeah, this character. No, person, like the entire comic, people thought, at least some people I know thought of it. I knew a lot of people who thought that this particular character was like Phantom because it appeared in Indrajal comics and Diamond comics and whatnot. People thought that, okay, yeah, this was something Indian. This character somehow has a similar experience. This character also has a lot of Oriental connections.
Cho Chang. I don't know.
No.
Bro, what Harry Potter, some poem reference, okay, by the way, sorry, I should clarify. Is it a cartoon character, like an animated cartoon, or is it like a comic book character?
Both.
But primarily which one?
Primarily comic. But I would be very surprised. Like you grew up roughly, there's not that much of an age difference between us. So you probably would have seen their cartoons on DD. What? Not cartoons, one cartoon.
Also inspired a Marvel character that has been a heavy hitter.
And a DC Comics character.
Multiple MCU films. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna hate myself when I find out the answer. But no, I'll have to ask you for another clue now.
The place where this character lives, or at least their dwelling or residence, has a specific callback to an earlier question in this episode.
Like a fort, perhaps.
Their dwelling, the name of their dwelling, has a very specific callback to one of the questions on this episode. Not directly, but still. It's a glaring connection.
Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah. Okay. Now that you mentioned Fortress of Solitude, there is a little bit of controversy, but some comic book historians consider this character X to be the first superhero predating Superman by 4 years. So let's put all of this together.
The person who came up with it, the artist, said that, yeah, he looks like me. I was in a room with a mirror. Silhouette inspired by Cardini, John Donne's poem, name inspiration, Harry Potter connection there somewhere. Something to do with their dwelling, and a question we already asked. Potentially, people think of it as an Indian character.
That you may want to leave out. Maybe that'll confuse you.
Okay, forget that. But yeah, primarily a comic book character, but also had cartoon that millennials would have heard of, seen. And the last clue was maybe is the superhero before Superman.
Yeah, there is a little bit of controversy on that, but it's a technicality.
I'm just
and very popular in India. At least my generation, our parents' generation, for sure. Gen Z, doubtful. Gen Alpha, definitely not. But it may be. There have been talks about a movie coming out on this character. Many names have been tossed about for playing the character X, including Sacha Baron Cohen and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers.
What is happening? What are these connections? Oh my God. Sacha Baron Cohen is supposed to play a character, a comic book character?
The names have been tossed about, nothing's confirmed.
And yeah, whatever, even potentially. Oh, that's very interesting. Man, you know what? If there are no more hints, just put me out of my misery or give me one thing that.
Okay, I'll give you one more. This character, this comic, basically this character, had the first seriously treated black character also. Because I told you that this predates Superman. So this was obviously in the first quarter of the 20th century. And at that time, black characters were treated horribly. Like the first Disney cartoons featured characters in blackface, even Steamboat Willie had some racist connotations. But this comic had a seriously treated black character who was a person with agency, who was treated with respect. And you know this character.
I know this character for sure.
I am 70% sure that you know this character.
70% sure.
I'm banking off the fact that you grew up in the 90s like me. So
I did grow up in the 90s, very much like you, but I am...
I'm fairly sure if you asked your dad, he would know.
This is very interesting because the Harry Potter thing is also very confusing. Like I'm pretty sure I know most of the popular characters in Harry Potter.
So I see, again, you have to go back and check the audio because I said that the name is found in Harry Potter. I didn't say that the name was of a character in Harry Potter.
Okay. Interesting.
So you would not have heard it from the poem, but you would have definitely heard the name in a Harry Potter novel, also featured in the movies. Inspired to DC Comics character and a Marvel character, a Marvel heavy hitter who's appeared in multiple MCU movies.
You know what? Give me a character or something, man, because I'm like no idea at all. Give me a Marvel or DC character at this point.
I'm going to give you a good giveaway hint. So I mentioned that the silhouette and the profession of X was primarily inspired by René Levand, also known as Cardini. Now, if you heard the name something like the amazing Cardini, what profession would you think of?
Magician?
Okay.
I did think of Doctor Strange when you were talking about this. For some reason, Doctor Strange came to mind. Okay, Doctor Strange is the Marvel character.
It is Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange was inspired by this character. Come on, put it all together.
Some magician. Okay, there is a chance that I might not have heard because it's not ringing any bells. A magician, comic book character.
Oh God, have I completely missed the mark here? Because I was banking on the fact that you know this. And I'm practically, there is no way you should not know this. Like, you know Phantom.
Yeah.
If you know Phantom, you know this character.
Yeah.
Indrajal Comics, Diamond Comics released both these.
No, give me something else then maybe.
There are people screaming. I have no more clues to give you. I'm like, seriously.
Then give me the answer. I might just not know it.
It's Mandrake the Magician.
I don't know this.
Oh my God. You've not heard? Oh, seriously. Okay, I am feeling really old right now. I wanted to call up your dad, like immediately after recording, or even now, put him on blast.
He's actually visiting me right now. I'm going to go ask him after this.
Yeah. So, Mandrake the Magician was created by Lee Falk, who also created the Phantom.
Okay.
Basically, he was a part of the comics that you would get in newspapers, the newspaper comics that you used to get.
Nice.
Along with Phantom, he used to be there in Indian newspapers for decades.
Interesting. Okay. No,
okay.
I don't know.
So this was something of an anticlimax, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure the audience is out of it. Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. Most of our audience is in the 18 to 35 age group. So now I'm feeling quite deflated. This episode just does not give me a break. So Mandrake the Magician is a classic comic strip character, first appeared in 1934, created by Lee Falk, who was also the creator of the Phantom. Mandrake is a world-famous stage magician who wore a signature black tuxedo, cape, and top hat. But unlike real performers, his magic is genuinely supernatural. He learned his powers during childhood at the mysterious College of Magic in Tibet, where he mastered hypnotism, invisibility, telekinesis, teleportation, shape-shifting, levitation, and spirit travel. His signature ability is hypnotizing people by gesturing hypnotically to make them believe anything. Mandrake fights crime and supernatural threats alongside his loyal companion Lothar, who was America's first seriously treated black character, and he was an African prince who was also the world's strongest man. And Mandrake's love interest, Narda, who was the princess of cocaine. He lives in a magical fortress called Xanadu.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so Xanadu was the summer capital of the Mongols, which was in Mongolia. It's Xanadu is the Anglicization of Shangdu. And he worked with the international crime fighting organization Inter. At his peak, over 100 million readers worldwide followed Mandrake's adventures in newspapers and magazines. He has influenced countless characters, including DC Comics' Zatara, who's the father of Zatanna, and Doctor Strange. Because Mandrake featured both a uniform and supernatural powers and appeared 4 years before Superman, comics historian Don Markstein and others consider him the world's first superhero, calling him the very first superhero who helped set the precedent for countless heroes after him, noting that he existed long before Superman and the Marvel Age of Comics. The main debate, why I said it's controversial and why Superman is considered the first by many people, is whether comic book specifically means bound comic books, in which case Superman would be the first, or if it includes newspaper comic strips, which would give Mandrake the Phantom and even further Hugo Hercules in the title. So all these would have been. So Mandrake the Magician, who also appeared along with Phantom and a few other characters in a cartoon called Defenders of the Earth on DD. It used to come up on DD. It was like the Avengers, but of these kind of comic strip characters. It included Flash Gordon. It included Mandrake the Magician. It included Phantom. Yeah, no bells.
Well,
okay, I am officially old, ladies and gentlemen.
You also said watched the cartoon on DD, and I was like, I've not watched any cartoons on DD.
Oh, God.
Well, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm officially old. I think it's time for me to retire. I'm out of touch. I do not even know what my quizzing partner knows anymore.
Just embrace it. It's fine. It's fine. You're aging gracefully, sir. If anything, I aspire to be aging.
Yeah. This is very graceful. Okay, I really want people to actually. This is not just kind of filler fluff things that we say on the podcast to get you to engage, but I honestly want people to comment on Instagram or send messages to me at DocVector. Am I the only person who's heard of Mandrake the Magician? Am I alone in this?
No,
people feel my pain.
I'm sure it's famous enough. And yeah, there's an alliteration there. If nothing else, that sounds very comic booky. So I'm sure there is something there.
The perfect way to end this this particular hateful episode would be if you asked your dad and your dad was also like, who? That would literally be like the 23rd knife in Caesar's back.
I will text you later and I'll tell you what my dad said. He's probably gone to sleep, but I'm going to ask him in the morning and I will let you know.
Okay.
All right. Vineeth, I apologize. I had actually like 3 more list questions to go. My list of list questions is unending. So we'll save that for another time. And you did well. You made yourself proud. You made all your fans on the podcast proud. You made me proud, Vineeth. You're amazing. You're just
pity. This is just pity. This is one of the what is it with number 142? Is it like a unlucky number of some sort? I don't know. So going back to the audience question, at least you guys, with me or the audience again, who killed Cleopatra and Julius Caesar's biological son?
Cleopatra and Julius Caesar's biological son.
There's nothing particularly confusing or trivial about this. The obvious answer is the answer, but I find it quite ironic, which is why I included the question.
I would say, is it Augustus Caesar?
Very good. It is Octavian, aka Augustus. So I found this again ironic for 2 reasons. One, which is just my own brand of humor. Do you know what Cleopatra and Caesar's son was called?
Little Caesar.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Oh,
it translates to Little Caesar.
Oh, Caesarito.
No, it was, and I shit you not, even though he was, by all accounts, a normal birth, his name was Caesarion.
That's funny.
But it's not the same spelling as Caesarion. It's Caesarion, as in Rion. So Augustus became Julius Caesar's heir through Caesar's will, which named his 18-year-old grandnephew Octavian, who later adopted the title Augustus, as his sole heir in 44 BCE, despite Caesar's biological son with Cleopatra, Caesarion, being alive. Caesarion was not considered legitimate in Rome because he was born outside of Rome's traditional legal framework and was the son of a foreign queen, making him not eligible for Rome's traditional citizenship. The Roman Senate and people accepted Octavian as the legitimate heir because he was a Roman citizen from a respected family, and Caesar's will gave him the right to adopt Caesar's name and inherit his fortune. Octavian then forged an alliance with Mark Antony and Lepidus, forming the Second Triumvirate in 43 BCE, which allowed him to eliminate political opponents and consolidate power, including Brutus and everybody else who killed Caesar. When Antony and Cleopatra defied Octavian and acknowledged Caesarion as Caesar's true heir, Octavian denounced them as enemies of Rome and waged war. After Mark Antony and Cleopatra were defeated at the Battle of Actium, Cleopatra sent Caesarion to Berenice, which is a seaport on the Red Sea, to escape to India. Octavian, however, lured Caesarion back to Alexandria with promises that he would rule Egypt. And when Caesarion returned, Octavian's soldiers intercepted and murdered him. The historian Plutarch records that Octavian's advisor Cassius Cornelius Gallus advised, "Too many Caesars is not good," meaning Rome could not have two people claiming to be Caesar's heir. Caesarion died at the grand old age of 17 years. His death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which had ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years and turned Egypt into a Roman province under Octavian's absolute control.
There is the very nice opportunity of just calling them a pair of Caesars.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, no. Again, didn't occur to me. No, very nice. Thank you. So, follow-up question. Who was the first Roman emperor?
First Roman emperor. I guess Romulus?
No.
Okay.
Emperor. Not king, emperor.
Oh, there's a distinction there. Okay. An emperor who was also ruling Rome in whatever shape it existed could be Alexander, I guess, because I'm sure it was part of his empire.
No, let's say the obvious answer. Don't think there's like a quiz. Who, like if you ask the general public, who would they say?
Caesar? Julius Caesar?
Julius Caesar, right?
Yeah.
No. Caesar was, so basically, if you know anything about the history of Rome, Rome initially had kings. They were horrible. So the people kind of overthrew them and established the Roman Republic. And then in the Republic, there was a title called dictator, which was a legal position. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Dictator was a legal position. When there was a threat to Rome, the people would elect one person to take all power, basically, all legislative as well as military power, consolidated in one person, and that person would lead Rome until the threat was passed, at which point they would have to resign as dictator. Now, many people have been dictators, voluntarily renounced the titles, most famously Cincinnatus. I think Boris Johnson once made a comparison between him and Cincinnatus for this. Julius Caesar was actually a dictator. He became a dictator but never relinquished his power. He was not an emperor. Octavian made up this title of emperor, and Augustus, he took the term Augustus, basically meaning the revered one, so that he could become king. Because if he mentioned the term king to the Roman people, they had the bad memories of the pre-Republic era. So he coined a new term, named himself Augustus, established the Praetorian Guard, and made himself emperor. So Octavian or Augustus was the first Roman emperor.
Nice. Okay. Interesting. I guess, yeah. Emperor Augustus, now that you say it, makes sense. Yeah. Very cool.
And he's also one of only two people who have months named after them.
Of course, July and August. Yeah.
Yeah, July and August. Julius and Augustus. Okay, Aditya, what's the smack for this week?
Going in the tradition of the episode so far, this is firstly A list, and B, it's also potentially not 100% verified, but again, such a fun piece of trivia, I'm just going to share it. Take it with a pinch of salt. Also, wow, nice segue, because it is alcohol, and I'm sure there was some tequila in there somewhere. So it's a bar tab. It is a bunch of drinks that have been ordered. So it's a list, I guess, in some way. And the simple question is, what is this bar tab, or what party was this bar tab of? Where is this bar tab from? It's clearly at least a few centuries old. So figure out what and where and when was this bar tab created? Where is this bill of alcohol sale from? That's the question. Look at the image, see if you can crack it, and let us know in the comments. The first person to get it right, gonna get a shout out in the next episode.
Nice. And Aditya, what are your pop culture recommendations for this week?
I'm going to recommend something that I believe is on Apple TV right now. It's called Widow's Bay. It's comedy horror. It's creepy and it's funny, as the name suggests. It's also unsettling, and somehow the lead character, he just looks artificial. Like there is a sense of AI generated vibe to him, which of course he's not. He's a real person, but I don't know why. Like something about the way he's dressed or the way the makeup is done or whatever it is. The name of the actor is Matthew Rice. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Who's well known enough. He's been in a bunch of films and shows. He's the lead in this, and it's about a little town where spooky, creepy things are happening. This guy's the mayor, and people have to figure out what's happening through the show. It's still ongoing, and there is a second season also that's going to happen next year. So might as well jump on board right now because it is highly recommended, super fun. I have enjoyed it so far. Yeah.
By the way, when you do mention Matthew Rhys, I just have to mention the show The Americans, which is Matthew Rhys and his wife Kerry Russell, beautiful Kerry Russell, together as a Russian spy couple who are sleeper agents in America. That also leads me to recommend The Diplomat by starring Kerry Russell. Like, frankly, anything Kerry Russell's in, I'll watch. The Diplomat, also fantastic show, and catch that as well. And I have actually my original recommendation from the earlier in this episode, Conflicted, the podcast Conflicted, especially go check out their episode called Pax Mongolica. I know I'm giving a little bit away because I have been getting quite a few pieces of trivia from this podcast. So by recommending it, I know I'm kind of giving away some things, but then as if this episode tells you anything, gatekeeping doesn't work with Aditya. So, and finally, because by the time of recording, SpaceX has just had its, what do you call it? I don't want to say historic IPO.
It is historic. I think it's the biggest ever IPO so far.
Yes. Also having the corporate integration of XAI, the AI company, into its corporate structure. So a lot of people were calling it an AI IPO and whatnot, rather than just a space IPO. Making Elon Musk a trillionaire, the first ever trillionaire.
As of this moment,
history.
In case the price doesn't drop, he's a trillionaire, yeah.
He's a trillionaire. Would it say he's the right person to be given this much power? But chalo.
I don't think any human being is ever going to be the right person for $1 trillion. And the BBC was just in its recent news update, it mentioned what does it actually mean, and in context that perhaps explains it best. It would take an average American worker. An average American worker obviously out earns an average whatever an Indian, Bangladeshi, Chinese worker. But an average American worker, it will take them. Guess how many years we need to earn $1 trillion? Guess how many years?
I'm guessing a few million years.
16 million years. Double-digit million years to earn $1 trillion at their current, whatever the average rate of pay is.
Let me just put it this way, which might make it more accessible for people to understand. If you were to count like 1, 2, 3, like one number every second, if you were to count one number every second, it would take you 11 days and 16 hours to count to a million, 1 million. It would take you 31.7 years to count to a billion. And it would take you 31,710 years to count to a trillion.
Oh, wow.
Like literally more than recorded history.
Yeah, that's true. Way more than recorded history.
Yeah.
Oh, insane.
Yeah. Okay, so coming back to what I was originally going to recommend, because this reminds me of, as I mentioned, an AI IPO, as people are calling it, the show Person of Interest. This show came out in 2011. It was there for 5 seasons. The executive producer was Jonathan Nolan, who is the brother of Christopher Nolan, starring Jesus Christ himself, Jim Caviezel, as the main character, John Reese. It deals with AI. And it grapples with a lot of questions about AI, the power we give AI, the privacy that comes with the loss of privacy that comes with it, and how much control we are willing to relinquish to AI, which we are seeing nowadays. So what the eventual evolution of that could be is quite well depicted. And also, frankly speaking, one of the most fascinating aspects of a sci-fi show ever put on TV, what happens when 2 AIs go to war? Ooh. Yeah, so if you've not watched it, A Person of Interest, it's available on Netflix now. So that's all that we have for this week's episode. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to us blabber on. And Aditya demolished my questions for the past 1 hour or so. We hope you enjoyed the show and learned something new, even if I didn't. And I'm I'm just joking. We enjoy doing this quite a lot. And connect with us on Instagram. And I honestly want people to message in and tell Aditya that he should be knowing Mandrake the Magician, and I am not old, right? I'm not that old. Mandrake the Magician does not make me that old. Okay. Yeah. So reach out to us. You can answer our Slack on Instagram. You can reach out to us on Instagram. You can message us. If you have questions you want asked on the show, send them to us at requesting@gmail.com. We will get around to most of them. We do have a wait list of those questions, but we will get to it at some point. We also have a Reddit page, r/areyoquizzingme. Go out and check that out as well. And that's all the time we have for today's episode. I think I'm repeating myself. I cannot stop. Aditya, please sign off.
See you guys next week. Is it John Don?
Yes, John Don.
Not Don John. John Don?
Not John. Yeah. Don Juan.
Yeah.
No, it's not Don Juan.